Hi everyone. Hope you're all well. So, I'm gonna get into this whole Bondi beach thing because, I mean, there's been some stuff about it that just seems kind of fishy. But we'll get into that. Let's just do this real quick. So I'll get into it in a sec. But yeah, it's just, I don't know what to believe anymore with things, really. Like, there's just so much deception out there, isn't there? You know, there's so much narratives that they try and push or whatever. They try and sometimes even completely fabricate stories for whatever reason. Maybe it's for a policy change or whatever it might be. And well, think about it, right? You know, with this Bondi Beach thing, the context of it, of being an anti-Semitic attack, could this be being used to even bring in even more like draconian laws that they're about supposedly protecting against hate speech, which will even further restrict people's free speech potentially? Is that what they're trying to do? I don't know what your thoughts are. What is the reason? But there's something not quite right, I don't think, about this event. Just things are, you know, and you look at like the footage, this selfie stick guy who apparently was a survivor also in October 7th event. Like, there's just so much that just seems a bit far-fetched about it, really. He's holding it's like so he's almost getting himself unalive, but yet he thinks to get it, you know, a selfie out. I mean, I don't know. It just all seems a bit sus to me, really. Hi, Kevin. How you doing? Hello, I am Bobby T1. How you doing? So what do you think about this thing? Because I think it's just another, I think it could be another psyop, to be honest with you. I don't put it past them to, you know, like bring out a psyop that's just another way to take more people's rights away or something. I mean, how you doing, Airplays? I hope you're doing well. I'm quite sus about, you know, like these sort of events a lot of the time. It's like, you look at 9/11, for example, and all the questions about that just don't really make sense. Like, a lot of things about that don't make sense. Like a lot of these events that in the past, and you think, what about Building 7, for example? You know, like the way that that fell, and it just, you know, you're left with all these questions. You're left with a lot of unanswered questions. And, you know, with this event that's just happened, there's unanswered questions about it that just, some things just don't add up. I mean, there's a lot of stuff about, you know, like, let's just have a look at some of the, because there was a so-called, you know, real media source that has, you know, been talking about it, and they're called Spark News UK, and they're basically, let me just put in the Bondi Beach one, but some of the comments on that video, what you mean, Kevin, what you're saying. So, like, let's just have a look and, what you're on about taking a selfie. I mean, it's not even that, it's just, I mean, but that was something that people were saying about that, and, I don't know, I mean, it's, let's just have a look, see what people have to say about it. I can kind of like, just kind of see some of the, let's just go to, I mean, I'll just go on one of the mainstream ones, I guess. I think there was one on Sky News Australia or something, but see what people have to say about the event. There's a lot of people saying that it's I don't fear people, I would save lives. What are you saying about hi Ved Vortex, how you doing? Hi Archie, how you doing? I hope you're well. So welcome in everybody. Make sure you subscribe if you're new here. That would be really appreciated. So let's just go to it's a Bondi Beach incident. So there's been some kind of like conspiracy theories, you could call it, but it's just this guy who's been apparently a victim of something in October, and now he's survived another incident. It's like, is this for real? I mean, like, let's see what people have to say about this event, and we'll kind of like try and kind of figure it out together, really, I guess, because so let's see, what is it? Someone put, meanwhile, the police are busy checking online for people saying words. Yeah, that's the thing, is they trained in the Philippines. Who's trained in the Philippines? So someone put, you'll need better actors. How did he forget the script, bro? Literally had to be prompted to say his lines. Yeah, I don't know. You could argue that if you're a survivor, then you would. I don't know, if you've been through something quite traumatic, then you might forget. I don't know. I'm kind of like trying to play devil's advocate, I guess. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but I guess it depends on how many lines you have to say. I haven't really like looked too much into this thing, but I'm just kind of trying to get up to speed on it all, really. But it's just a whole like anti-Semitism thing, and like I just feel like it could be used as a way to try and bring more lols in, to try and ban on quote unquote hate speech, that they might broaden the definition of anti-Semitism to include even, say, someone criticizing Israel and things like that. That if you criticize Israel, then you're an anti-Semite, which is kind of a stupid word anyway, the whole anti-Semite thing, because most Semites are Arabs. Why are we calling it anti-Semitic then? Let's see what it says. So someone put, the world is but a stage. Yeah. Why does that man with blood look so evil? Investigate him first. Yeah, I don't know. It's just it's all acted out. This guy's an actor. I mean, like I said, he's already been in some event before in October, and apparently he moved to Australia 2 weeks ago to deal with anti-Semitism or something. I don't know. It's like, Ali, how you doing? I hope you're well. It all just sounds a bit kind of sus. I don't know. What do you guys' thoughts are? But oh no, that's not good. Yeah, it's called Arsen Ostrovsky. Ostrovsky. Is he like a Russian Jew or something? I don't know, but sounds like a Russian name or something. All right, okay. Well, I hope that goes well. Let's see what they say. Like, but not many of the mainstream people would question the legitimacy of this event. But yeah, there is quite a few people. Someone was saying it's an IDF Mossad agent. What's IDF? Some kind of defense. I don't know. IDF. Let's have a look at IDF. What is IDF? I've heard of EDL and I've heard of ADL as well. Like what's called Anti-Defamation League, which is like an anti-Semitism or whatever. I mean, hello, meme athon. Israel Defense Force, right? Yeah, so it's so it's basically someone from the military then. of course it was a false flag law. Yeah, I mean, there's a yeah. So I had to look more into this whatever it's called. Find out a bit more about that guy. Arson. It's just funny that his name's called Arson. Like, I don't know. Yeah, Israeli Mossad. I mean, it's like Tommy Robinson was like part of that, wasn't he? He was like always like shilling for Israel. I mean, he got outed as like a Mossad agent, so I bet he would just jump straight on and be like saying that it's all. I don't know. I don't watch him, so um, as I was in a bus accident on the 72 bus traveling from Leeds to Bradford. You're all right? Not seen you for a while. How you doing? So yeah, Mossad. It's like it's like MI5, I guess. Is that what it is? Like IDF or whatever, like a sort of MI5 or MIT or something. I don't know, but like there's these military kind of groups that are the intelligence groups trying to put out certain events like psyops to try and either to influence people's psyche or to even like influence laws and stuff. That Battle of Europa. Hang on. It's like I hear a lot of these so-called like truth people who like they're all about they're not woke, they're not kind of they say that we're not woke, we'll give the real news, people like Spark News, and they'll just cover these stories like they're real, but we don't know they're real a lot of the time, and they're just yes, they might say some good things, but then I don't know if they're compromised or they just actually believe in that stuff. They actually believe that that they're all these events are real and all that. It's like they would probably think that that 9/11 was entirely a Muslim terrorist attack, when maybe some other things were behind that, perhaps like maybe Mossad or some other kind of group were behind that as well, like because there's a lot of things about 9/11 that the official narrative that don't add up. Like a lot of it seems to be pre-planned and not just by the terrorists, that by government operatives, maybe a collusion of the US and the Israel potentially. But there's a lot of things that just don't add up about a lot of these events. And well, yeah, Rumbles tends to be you can find stuff on there, but then sometimes you can get like misinformation. So we've got a kind of so yeah, so 2017, 12 hours and 26 minutes. Is that how long it is? Oh, I don't know. I mean, it says it's part of a neo-Nazi propaganda film created by Tobias Bratt, a Swedish far-right activist. So that's what they're framing it as, but I don't know. I've not seen it, so I wouldn't be able to kind of say it that. But that sounds like some propaganda, possibly, that they're trying to smear it as a. Someone put Europa: The Last Battle. Any counter documentaries? It's a work of Holocaust denial and Nazi apologia. And so there are numerous quality documentaries which rebut most of its claims. I mean, I'm not a Holocaust denier or anything like that, so if it's talking about things like that, then I'd be quite skeptical about that. But I've actually heard I think it's in some countries, or at least in one country, that you're not allowed to actually deny the Holocaust. It's actually a crime, which to me, it's like, I don't agree with it. Even if I think that the Holocaust is real or something, that I don't agree with someone being potentially put in jail just for, denying it. I think that is, no, I'm not South African, I'm English. So I don't necessarily agree with someone being put in jail if they just deny something's happened, because wouldn't it be better to like, you know, they're saying that is if you want to combat, you know, bad speech, it's better to, you know, have it out in the open so that we can, you know, rebut that with good speech. You know, instead of so like if we want to, because the whole idea of free speech is so we can have everything out in the open, so we can have open dialogue, try to understand where each other's coming from. No problem. So like we should be open to hearing different people's points of view, whether they're wrong or not, whether they're quote unquote bad, even if, you know, we think that, oh, that's a terrorist opinion. That's your opinion on that. You're allowed to have that. But we should hear somebody out if they, you know, if that's what that person wants to believe, and or that not that they want to believe that, that's just what they believe, right? If someone wants to if someone believes that the Holocaust was exaggerated or whatever it might be that they say, I mean, I don't necessarily believe that, and I haven't actually looked enough into it anyway, but I know there's been some people who've questioned some aspects of it, but I don't know. There's a lot of misinformation out there, but I think that we should be allowed to question everything, and we should be able to put that out there. You know, like what is it? I don't know how it would harm anyone to actually have that opinion put out there. Wouldn't it be better to do that so then we can have open debate instead of just having, you know, kind of, you know, just in certain, like I say, in certain countries potentially being put in jail for that. You know, like I think that is a bit of a, you know, it's just a bit of, it sounds like an Orwellian kind of like, you know, but you know, wrong thing and all that kind of stuff. We were warned about this kind of stuff with like Orwell. You know, this was going way back. You know, so like we have to, you know, we have to try and kind of like, you know, we have to protect freedom of speech, right? And this country is trying to destroy that. And this whole event, like I said, this recent event, is this being used to try and, you know, further, you know, take away free speech by labeling things as anti-Semitic or whatever? You know, if someone criticizes Israel, then they're an anti-Semite now. They're a threat. They're a threat to Jewish people. They're like, you know, they're a threat to those communities, even if they haven't actually done anything bad to the Jews themselves, and they don't know any of the Jews. They're just kind of, they're not talking about Jewish people themselves. They're talking about elitist people who are trying to push a certain agenda. They're trying to, you know, let's say push a pro-Israel agenda, and they're trying to expand their influence all over the world. And then, you know, through the media, through the banks, everything. And if you question that, then you're an anti-Semite. That's probably what they're going to try and do now, isn't it? It's to try and bring in more, whether it's staged or whatever, this event. I think they'll just use it to try and further their, you know, hate speech. And it could extend beyond that sort of stuff as well, and just give an excuse to like bring in even more hate speech laws because of all these terror attacks. Well, we have to question if half of it's even valid. Now, that might sound like conspiracy theories, but, you know, I have to question everything, right? We have to be able to question everything. If we can't question everything, that's not healthy. That's toxic. You know, if you can't question anything, it's like, for example, you know, if, for example, you get, let's say you're with somebody, right? And there's something that seems off about it, you know, their behavior, maybe there's suspect that they're cheating, you should be allowed to, you know, kind of voice your concerns about that. If they're just going to like shut you up, then that's toxic. So are you disagreeing with what I say, or what? I mean, the thing is that, you know, people are affected by, you know, say like propaganda, and they're being told that, you know, even things like in Coronation Street where they were pushing this narrative of, oh, you know, the people got you know, like they're criticizing the banks and stuff, that they are, that's a classic anti-Semitic trope. So you can see what they're trying to do with, you know, trying to use anti-Semitism as this quite broad kind of thing to attack anyone who has a dissenting view on, say, like the establishment. So, if there's, say, like a lot of, say, pro-Israel influence into the media, then they're obviously going to be pushing narratives to prop it up. And so, yeah, it's just like through like, the media, like things like soap operas and stuff like that can be a great way for them to try and push narratives, to try and get people to think that, oh, like we shouldn't trust in the people who, that they are criticizing the banks, they are bigoted, they're hateful people. I think that's what they're trying to do, isn't it? Hello, Ash J, how you doing? I hope you're well. Now, I'm not saying I'm pro-Palestine or anything like that. To be honest, I think both of them are just as bad as each other, No, I don't think so, Jeffrey. I'm just here to kind of talk about some of the recent stuff going on with free speech, as well as this event that happened, and whether, there's anything to kind of question about it, and is it all legitimate? Was there crisis actors involved? Because this guy that survived apparently survived another event as well. It just all seems a bit, coincidental, shall we say, that, he just happened to move to Australia to combat hate speech or something. What is it? Not hate, like anti-Semitism in particular. I mean, well, not just. I mean, there's combating anti-Semitism, and then he gets attacked again. I don't know. It all seems a bit kind of questionable. I don't know. Are you trying to get yourself arrested? I'm not trying to get myself arrested. I mean, up to now, I think I can kind of get away with saying this stuff. Like, I've not said anything against any particular person. Yeah, I know. But I don't really even give a fuck at this point, to be honest with you, because I know that if I did get arrested, then that would be good publicity, I guess, Get me fucking arrested, because I'll get fucking publicity, right? They'll get fucking, yeah, people support me, right? Even if most people hate me for it, if 10% support me, that gets me a fucking platform, So, yeah, you always have to see the good in the bad, is what I'd say. So fucking arrest me then, It's crazy, people getting arrested for saying all sorts of shit. But this is, my point is that I think they're trying to use some of this stuff to actually bring in even more laws against hate speech, Yeah, well, but then if they did that, then there'd be enough people that would have my back. I'm pretty sure of it, I'm pretty sure they would have my back if worse come to worse, right? You'd be kind of like a martyr to a lot of people. Yeah. I mean, I agree with, like, nothing should be a reason to be killed, right? What I was saying is that, should we really trust in the official narratives that we are being led? Are people being paid off to just kind of play out a certain script? This is not any hate speech whatsoever. I haven't said anything hateful about any particular person. So how would this even, like, kind of pass as a fucking hate speech violation or something? Yeah, well, I'm gonna, like, just do what I want to do, right? I mean, what's the worst that's gonna happen, eh? I'm kind of at a point where I just don't give a damn. It's like, okay, arrest me then. Put me in jail. I don't give a fuck. Because I'd have enough people who would, even if 90%, even 99% of the world hate me, I'd rather have like 1% actually who, really support me for standing up for something, for freedom of speech and all that kind of stuff, than to just be fucking milquetoast and just go along with whatever bullshit, Because that's the coward's way out to me. People are afraid of rocking the boat, shall we say. They're afraid of going against the status quo for fear of whatever it be. You know what I mean? But I hope everyone's doing well tonight anyway. That's getting a bit serious in here, but I just thought I'd share some of my thoughts on all this. I mean, I've been hearing a lot of stuff on so-called anti-Semitism, and I mean, I don't agree with violence against anybody. So if this is a real thing that's happened, then then I'm really feel bad for all the victims that have been part of it all and all their families that have been involved. But at the same time, we have to be able to question things. Now, there has been some like fake stuff going around, I believe. We've got to not trust in everything we see on the internet as well. So not just the media, but a lot of stuff goes around the internet, like especially nowadays, we've got AI stuff getting floated around the internet. We have to be able to, we have to be able to just kind of, discern reality from non-reality. But it's getting harder to tell now, isn't it, with all this AI stuff? It's getting kind of scary in a way. But yeah, let's see what other people are saying. I mean, I talk about IDF and stuff, or like Israel, what is it, Defense or something, whatever it's called. Apparently, there's 2 doctors and engineers would want to do that. Is that what they were? 2 doctors and engineers. So what are they called? The Bondi Beach perpetrators occupation. Let's see what it is. So let's have a look. Gunman's trip to Philippines month before shooting. So what do you make of that? Then there was this thing about someone called Ahmed Al-Ahmed, who's been kind of like seen as a hero for disarming Bondi attacker. That's what the media's apparently been kind of narrative that they're pushing or something. Which, if that's true, obviously, they're but they were kind of pushing the narrative of like the Muslim being like kind of like the hero of it all or something. But yeah. So who are the people that did it? What are the names of the people and stuff? Well, it's just 24 victims or something. 15 deaths apparently I've heard, which is quite bad. If true, but yeah, just So like so the conspiracy theory, they're calling it denial and misinformation. So label. So like let's see what is it? Trying to find any more information on this thing, really. What was it saying? Engineers or something? What is it? Sajid Akram and Naveed Akram. Oh, you're in the UK as well. Yeah. So what were they? So apparently not. So someone was saying, weird that two doctors and engineers would want to do that. So, they're not apparently. Apparently that I don't know who they're talking about there, but who is? Yeah. So, but it's just that this October 7th, this guy that was the survivor was also the survivor of the October 7th incident. Is that not a bit kind of sus or something? Well, there's someone called Dan El-Kayam, a French engineer. Oh, that's good, Mohammed. Dan El-Kayam, a 27-year-old French engineer, was among the 15. Oh, that's victims. I mean, let's see what it's saying. I mean, it's going to be hard to find anything that's like questioning the mainstream narrative on Google searches or on YouTube searches for that matter. Sometimes you can see stuff in the comments though. Let's see if there's anything else. See what people are saying about it. Yeah, someone put, this is a false flag. Someone then put, I live in the UK. Are all our terrorist attacks also false flags? Manchester arena bombings, London Bridge attack, or are you just coping? And then someone put as a reply, why are you talking about other incidents? He said, this is a false flag. There's pictures of him circulating the internet of him having fake blood applied to his face and smiling. You can see fake blood bottles too, and it's gone through the AI detector and came back as real. So you need to stop the copium. And then someone put, there is nothing to verify it's real, and a lot of indications it's fake actually. Can you explain how the bloodstain on his shirt changes between the photo and the video footage of the other shoot after the shooting? The photo didn't make much sense to begin with. They have lighting outside in the middle of a summer day, and why would there be a professional film crew? It's like an AI fever dream of a staged event. The photo just popped up out of nowhere. Who supposedly took the photo, etc? I mean, I'd have to look at like the oh, you want to hop in a halal sweet shop? Oh, cool. So yeah, let's just see. So yeah, you survive October 7th. Okay, now this is just crazy. Yeah, it's just really unlikely that you would survive two terror attacks in just over 2 months from each other. It all seems a bit, I don't know, make of that what you will. So someone put Oyson is the same man that was Oct7. Also, coincidentally, he ridiculed Greta for trying to get humanitarian aid to Palestinians in need. Fresh bandages for the media. This guy is a pathetic false flag actor. Right, billionaire Yasir, how you doing? So what do you make of it? So yeah, so it's like apparently he was trying to mock Greta. I mean, I'm not really for Greta. I think she's a bit of a grifter and just not someone that actually cares about any of the issues that she talks about, really. But it's yeah, I think, but it's just all seems a bit of a. I'm doing fine, thank you. What's where you all from, everybody? Anyway, um, yeah, so there's a lot of things that just don't quite add up, it seems. Let's see what else they're saying about it. Why is his face bloody but his bandage spotless? I'm gonna have to have a look and kind of see about that. I mean, his bandage. Let's have a look and kind of analyze things a bit more, I guess, and try and kind of figure this all out. But is this to try and kind of, put any more bans on things like quote unquote anti-Semitism or something and say that, oh, that what that person said about the bankers is anti-Semitic or something. So saying about like his bandage or something. I mean, I don't know. Maybe his bandage just didn't really get bloody. I don't know if it's possible. Is that actually possible that could have happened? I mean, I don't know. I try to kind of not just. I got iPhone 14 Pro Max on contract now. Oh, cool. Candace Owens predicted this. Yeah, I saw about that actually. Yeah, I saw somewhere that she predicted that this would happen around this time, which is a bit spooky, isn't it? That she predicted this. And they all hate on Candace Owens now, don't they? Same with Tucker Carlson, because he's this like speaking out about how, US is sending all this money to Israel instead of trying to help their own people, which I think is a bit disgraceful that you would put another country before your own. It's a bit traitorous, isn't it, when you do that sort of stuff? And isn't like Trump quite Zionist as well or something? And but yet all these kind of right-wing people will have no problem with that. It's kind of ironic, isn't it? They're supposed to be like nationalist and all that, but yet they'll sort of vote for a politician that has more interests in another country. It's like with Tommy Robinson is another example of this. And I spoke out about this a long time ago on another channel about how a lot of these people are Zionists and they'll kind of, they'll just kind of, you'll see that they'll be traitors and they'll betray their own people and stuff that's kind of if they get money for that, I mean, when you got people like Tommy who just he's didn't he end up fucking off to Spain or something? I mean, he's supposed to be all like a patriot or something, but yet he'll just he got his fucking mansion in Spain or whatever, and just I don't think he gives a fuck about British people, does he? Like he cares more about Israel because they're paying him, aren't they? He's getting paid handouts from Israel to they're lobbying him to push a pro-Israel narrative. So he'll be all like, oh, we should have a homeland for the Jews or something. What about us focusing on our own problems? Why are you so into what's going on with Israel or something? I mean, I don't know. I just find it a bit odd how these right wing people it's like they care more about some other country, and yet they're not really focused so much on all the like economic problems of this country and stuff like that. Like there's a lot of shit going on right now, and I don't know. I just find it a bit kind of, I guess, hypocritical in a sense. They're going about, being generally against like handouts, bailouts, things like that. But yet they will, they want to help Israel for some reason, even though they've now gotten to be like one of the richest countries in the world per capita. They're like absolutely just dominating in terms of for the size of the country. It's like should we not be questioning, giving him more and more influence? And don't they already have enough influence over things like the Jewish people have so much influence over the media and stuff like that? They have. What do you think of Russia and NATO? The chief of UK said, "Prepare for war that our grandparents endure." I mean, I don't know what's going on anymore. What are your thoughts on the whole Russia and Ukraine? I mean, I don't really hear anything about that anymore. The narrative just keeps shifting, doesn't it? 1 minute it's about Russia and Ukraine. Next minute it's about Israel and Gaza, And then it's like, and you have all these different things going on. It's like you can't even keep up half the time, can you? It's like there's something new every week, it seems, There's new wars looming that supposedly, and then it's like we're just on this crazy ride, aren't we? Really, it's just who knows what it's. Anyway, see what they're saying. Yeah. So see what else people have to say about this event. See, there's a lot of people saying it's fake. So, but diversity is their strength. Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of that saying like that diversity is our strength. Some are saying that that's not true in certain places where there's all these kind of like crimes going on and stuff. But I know some of you guys are like, I think you're like Muslims and stuff. So I guess I don't know what your thoughts are on all this kind of unvetted immigration in the UK, and some people are just getting really annoyed with that. And why is it that they can't just like process them quicker and stuff? Like, so I was talking about this with my dad earlier. Like, why can't they like process them and just get them out? And just they were supposedly going to send them to Rwanda, and then that all kind of got, cancelled or something. I don't know. It's just I understand that some people are trying to like flee from disaster or whatever, but this country has its own shit to deal with, right? We can't really keep on bringing new people in. We're already overrun as it is. So, yeah. Anyway, I don't know. It's like you can't keep it going forever. I don't think like so. Some are saying these immigrants might even be. I was watching this video where they were talking about possibly these immigrants being used for something. I don't exactly know what they're being used for, but they were saying that they thought that they were some kind of like, I don't know. It's like, why is it that all these immigrants are suddenly coming in? Like, it's coming in like these illegals coming in so often at this point. It's like, it seems to have been going on for a few years where they're just pouring in. Like, what is going on? Why is it all here? It seems like in these specific countries, or like I don't know. Is it because we're very like soft to like keep letting them in or something? But I don't know. I just feel like it's kind of like a bit of an insult to like where there's people are on below the poverty line and whatever, and struggling to make ends meet. And some of these people are working, right? Some of them are literally, having to go to food banks, right? And yet you get these people coming in illegally, and they get put up in hotels. They get given a mobile phone. They're getting given all these different things, right? Food, all sorts, My dad was even telling me that some of these people even get to go on fucking days out and shit. What the fuck? I heard something about like they were trying to like take their jewelry and stuff to sell it so they could fucking try and pay for some of this shit. But then people are saying that they're being fascist or something. I mean they should be fucking taking everything they've fucking got if it means that they can pay for it or something. Attacking our kids. Yeah, it's just bullshit, and they're literally like, I've seen stuff of like a lot of these people coming in and they're fucking trying to like abduct people. They've been literally getting caught in the act, attempting to do it, you know? But I've just been saying about this whole friggin' event. I don't know what your thoughts are on it. Is it just another thing to try and like more fucking attacks on free speech and just if you even question like things like the influence of like say Israel first and all this kind of stuff, and is it just another way to try and censor people more? Because certain events can be put through for certain agendas, like whether it's censorship or some people were saying certain events were there to, like in America, to try and crack down on gun ownership and things like that, potentially, or at least, to, control it. Then more people would call for gun control. Some people were saying that some of these events were at least possibly either a false flag or it was completely staged. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that we don't really know, but it's like we have to look at now. They have to look at the intentions of people. Like, what's the motivation to do something? Is there a motivation that they would some kind of operation to try and some push or something? It's just I just find it funny how a lot of these kind of right-wing people will kind of, there's so much against immigration, but yet a lot of them are very much pro-Israel and stuff like that, and they believe that they should be constantly be able to get more and more power. Shouldn't we question like how much power these people have and whether that could be quite dangerous to society and actually could potentially affect democracies and overpower like things like them? I mean, like for example, they are wanting to if they got their way, then they would have it where it's the only religion in Israel, and they would basically try to, get rid of. Because I think if I remember, in Israel they've got the what is it in Jerusalem? I think it is, and there's like, isn't there some kind of like, is it a church or something? It might be a temple or something like that has all like different religions like Christianity, Islam, Judaism, all in one, where it's like all unified. But then it's like, I'm not sure exactly where it is. Is it? I don't know if it's East Jerusalem or wherever it might be. But it's like, I think that if they got their way, that it would be like any other religion would be kind of, I don't know. I'm just kind of like questioning, like, it's just that it feels like that they are trying to just kind of take over, but then it's like, but then the levels kind of like focus on like the Muslims and all that kind of stuff, but then there is issues with like radical Muslims and stuff. But I think in some cases, like I said, 9/11, it's like, I don't think that the official narrative is true on that. If we look at like what happened after that with like war on terror, that whole thing that happened, it's like it could have been used to try and push a agenda to try and, you know what I mean? The counter-terror, which was about more security, bringing in more of that. A lot of that was brought in after that event. So the question is, the legitimacy of the, official narrative. Are we supposed to believe it? It's like, there's been a lot of things about, say, 9/11 that have not added up. Like I said, Building 7 is an example. I don't know how true this is. I remember seeing this thing of like, where the 9/11, where the Twin Towers were still in the background when they said that they'd gone down. Let's put it in, Twin Towers still up, even though BBC said they came down. Let's see what they say about this on AI or whatever. Go into AI mode. On 11th of September 2001, BBC News mistakenly reported the collapse of World Trade Center 7, the third tower, about 23 minutes before it actually fell. This event is a well-documented reporting error rather than proof of a conspiracy. Oh, really? Yeah, so... I mean... Let's see what it says. So it talks about Building 7 had been on fire for 7 hours due to debris from the North Tower before it eventually collapsed at approximately 5:20 p.m. ET. Well, we saw like it fell like at sort of free fall speed or something. Well, that's what it looked like anyway. So it was on fire for 7 hours and then just collapsed. Is that what we're... I don't know what you guys make of all that, really, but I hope everyone's doing well tonight anyway. Well, they were saying that, like, the cause of the collapse, according to the final NIST report, the collapse was a fire-induced progressive collapse. You think Israel did it? Yeah, probably. Debris damage. When the North Tower collapsed, debris hit WTC-7, igniting fires on at least 10 floors. Oh, hello. Hello, good to see you. How are you doing tonight? Sprinkler failure. The water main supplying the building's sprinklers was severed by the earlier collapse of the Twin Towers, allowing the fires to burn unchecked for 7 hours. Thermal expansion. Hello, Casizio, how are you doing? The intense heat caused steel floor beams and girders to expand. This thermal expansion pushed a key girder off its seat at column 79. Yeah, I've heard about that, Leroy. Bit sus, isn't it? Progressive failure. When column 79 buckled, it triggered a cascade of floor failures. Without lateral support, the remaining interior columns failed, eventually leading to the collapse of the entire building. So some are saying that the way that it went down was kind of sus or something, and some are saying that it was a controlled demolition. What do you guys make of it all about the way that it went down? But it is a bit sus when you've got that BBC reporting World Trade Center 7 going down 23 minutes before it actually fell. You could actually see it still in the background, which is kind of embarrassing, really, isn't it? That just goes to show how BBC is just full of shit. Anyway. Yeah. So let's see what they say. So, the BBC stated the mistake occurred because they were monitoring external news feeds during the chaos and confusion of the day. Specifically, the news agency Reuters had prematurely reported the collapse after picking up a local report that the building was in danger of collapse. I just feel like that, I don't know, if you're supposed to be, yeah, your integrity and all that, you're supposed to be accurately reporting things, right? You don't just say that some building's fallen when it's not. That's a pretty big kind of thing to sort of, well, often you get a fire after a company goes bust into bankruptcy. Yeah, that's true. Because they can then just use it as an insurance job, can't they? You know, that building was at the accounts department. There was a lot of sus things about 9/11, like with the Pentagon building and 2.3 trillion apparently that was unaccounted for. Have you heard about that? Can't be held to account. How convenient. Yeah, exactly. You know, buildings are collapsed. And it's like Pentagon was another one that went as well, isn't it? You know, on the same kind of day, wasn't it? All these trillions apparently that went missing or unaccounted for, or whatever. And then they can't find out then, can they? If the building's all gone. Didn't they end up finding the fucking passports as well? Remember of the perpetrators, right? Yeah, they found all that buried in the rubble or something. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? Did they just happen to find the passports of them? What are the chances of that happening? You know, that they just happen to find that? I don't know. Is that something that they could have found possibly, or do you think that's a bit of a far-fetched? I don't know. Just wondering what your thoughts are on all that. But I kind of digress because I was talking about this new thing that's just happened, and find anything sus whenever they're talking about certain races, religion, you know, like ethnicities, cultures, anything like that, and it's something that's motivated by that. I mean, I just find, is this some kind of false flag event? Plausible deniability and coincidence, conspiracy. Yeah, the thing is you're called paranoid, maybe even schizophrenic or something if you question the mainstream narrative of things, right? You know, you're paranoid, you're delusional, you're mad. So it's like there's this thing that's just happened on Bondi Beach, and there's some things about it that don't quite add up. Like this guy was literally just there was a survivor in another attack back in October. So he moves to Australia to fight anti-Semitism and then becomes a victim of so-called anti-Semitism. I mean, it's just, it feels like, it's like you can't make this shit up. It's like, I don't know, it feels a bit like they're just running a script here that new laws to be passed, do you think, potentially? Just wonder what your thoughts are. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it just seems all a bit of an FF, a false flag, you know? Either a false flag or I mean, like a staged event or something. I mean, whatever you want to call it. I mean, but yeah, I bet Mossad probably has something to do with it or something, or whatever they call it, IDF, whatever it's called. Is that Israel Defense Force or something? So like some kind of military that they have going on. At the moment, the Japanese economy is collapsing and a distraction is needed. Well, yeah, that could be. But could it be another way to bring in more laws against hate speech or something? Because you see how they're ramping up all this kind of like, you know, with the kind of, you know, with all this online safety bill, the hate speech bill that they've passed. Do you think that could have something to do with it as well? Maybe. That in a lot of countries now they're trying to push these laws to try and, you know, crack down more on hate speech. Potentially. As Japan buys up American bonds, gets tiresome indeed. All right. What do you mean? What gets tiresome? I mean, in some cases, like some events have multiple motives, you know? It's like with 9/11. Some say there's multiple motives for that as well, like with, say, some say that it was used as an excuse to go to war because there was this whole threat of terror stuff, and it kind of, it kind of like fed into that whole kind of, let's go, to Iraq because there's all these terrorists and stuff, and there might be some, another 9/11 kind of incident happen, and it's all dangerous, and there's this kind of like boogeyman kind of thing. Media narratives get tiresome. Yeah, it does really. It's just we have to be able to question everything, though, don't we? It's just there's some of these like Spark News or whatever, and they're some of the stuff seems to be kind of like decent reporting, but the problem is that they will take all these events at face value, though. We have to question if the event even happened in the way that they said it did. Like, we just don't really know for certain. It's like, for example, you'll hear the media going on all the time about Epstein files, right? But we have to even question if any of this stuff even happened in the way that they said. I mean, like, this whole Epstein character, was this a completely almost like a fictional kind of character or something? We have to question everything. Did he even exist in the way that, that was been, kind of like made out to have, so we just don't know. Like, there's so much BS that we can't even know for certain. Is it just another distraction that they got everyone focusing on? Like Epstein files and all this kind of crap. Keep dangling that fucking carrot, at people. Are they going to release Epstein files and all this shit? It just sounds like some fucking psyop to me. I don't know. Because I don't think it really is going to affect us either way, really. I don't know. I mean, yeah, we know that there's a lot of shit going on with these elites and whatever, but I just feel like a lot of these media narratives are just put out there to distract everybody, like you said, just get everyone focused on something, whether that's a war that we have nothing to do with, or some potentially a false flag event, or even if it is a real event, they need our attention diverted. So, yeah, I don't know. It's we have to question everything, don't we? There's a lot of things that's weird. I don't know. It's like there was that Plymouth shooter guy. I mean, it could very well have happened, I do think, but I do feel like that was actually something that was set up in a way, potentially. It was a bit strange that happened, because that guy should have been known to be not really someone that probably should have had a gun, especially in the UK. We don't really have a lot of guns here. We're not in America, really, so we probably shouldn't be giving someone a gun who's not very mentally well, that could end up pulling it out on somebody, and well, those people are not going to be able to defend themselves, are they, There's prioritizing irrelevant event, takes attention away from law, making it fraud. Yeah, there's all this law stuff going on, all these, kind of free speech laws they're trying to pass, not free speech, hate speech laws they're trying to pass to try and, crack down on hate speech. What's the next thing now? If you criticize Israel, they're gonna say that you're a bigot, you're a anti-Semite, just for that, because I don't necessarily agree with, someone like Jeremy Corbyn, but he was actually vocal against Israeli government, and then they all called him an anti-Semite. Now, did he ever say anything? I don't know, but did he ever say anything that was truly anti-Semitic or whatever, or anti-Jewish? Is the right term, I guess they should have used. Did he actually say anything that he hates the Jews or something like that? Or even hates the religion? Did he say that? Or was it just more of criticism against Israel and stuff like that. Now, having guns has advantages. We also don't have the Second Amendment in the UK. Yeah, I mean, I think it's just that we don't have them, and if somebody like him has it, then it could be dangerous because people just are not responsible. But like, I don't know, it's a bit odd that they would give him, someone with like mental issues, a gun, and like this Jake Davison guy who, you know, was kind of a bit of a radical, and I think he was known to the system as being radical, but even then, they still, I think, if I remember, they seized his access to his gun, but then they gave it back to him. So it almost, I don't know, something seemed a bit kind of odd why they would let him carry that out. So yeah. So I don't know, like, what, I could say it was just his crazy, you know, kind of like ideologies that led him to do that, but is there more to it? You know, it's like we have to be able to question things, and, you know, was he set up to do that? Was he, you know, because why would they give him a gun when they know that he's quite volatile and stuff? Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, you know, he never got the support that he needs, and you could say it was that the system failed him and failed the people, but I don't know. It's just that there's all these events that keep happening, and then it just brings out more hate speech laws and stuff like that, and it's like they're trying to make examples out of people and stuff, you know. So also they're just trying to say, oh, you know, like, look what happened with this. It's like, for example, it's like they were trying to use that, what was it, adolescence or something, as like some kind of example of, you know, like sexism or whatever crap, to then kind of like just fuel more division between men and women or something, and like it just creates more attention. I know I made a video earlier that was quite, you know, kind of like, I was being quite passionate, shall we say, but I don't mean that all women are bad. I'm talking about a specific category, you could call them. I just want to say real quick that, like, because the person was saying about that, you know, you don't know what someone's going through, like what kind of trauma they've been through. The way I see it is that it doesn't matter what kind of trauma you've been through. It doesn't give you the right to treat like someone like fucking shit. You know, to just like, you know, to just, I mean, if you have these kind of problems, you should not be in a relationship, full stop, you know? So I might make a video about that as well, because to me, it's like, I think that's an important point that people need to understand, that it's like, yeah, I can try to sympathize and understand where people are coming from and whatever, but it still doesn't matter, because, you know, you have to, if you have any degree of self-awareness whatsoever, I'm pretty sure you must do. You shouldn't know that maybe it's not for the best you to be with somebody at that moment in time until you've healed, right? And that might be hard for some people to hear, but it's probably the best for you and just everyone else in general. You need the help first, you know? Because you can't be a broken person and just try and break other people down. It's not fair, is it, you know? Yeah. I'll have to like look more into that at some point, because I haven't really looked too much into that documentary, but that's a while ago now, so I don't even know if it's even relevant anymore to anybody really, but I just feel like a lot of it's just become oh no, it's been ramped up, you know. We've got, some say it's this Fabian society that's really like ramping everything up, ramping up all these draconian laws and stuff. There's been all these different like kind of think tanks and stuff, and NGOs and stuff trying to influence policy making and stuff like that. And who knows, they might be involved in certain attacks to try and to bring about new laws. It just, I don't know, it makes me all sound a bit paranoid because a lot of people just don't understand any of this stuff. They don't understand how deep the system is and how corrupt it all is. Like they take everything at face value, you know. They're like kind of blue pilled, if you will, in that sense, you know. It's kind of like with the dating stuff where these guys are just completely delusional and they're like, they think you should just be a kind, caring person. You know, you'll find someone. Just be nice and, you know, just do nice things for her, you know. Give her a compliment. Just be nice to her. And that's gonna, you know, make her attracted to you. No, that's not true. The brain rot is just like, you know. Yeah, there's that all you see hardly these days is brain rot. Any real stuff hardly even gets pushed out, you know? It's like, you know, it's all just kind of slop content that's, I mean, you've got like, you know, social media trying to like crack down, censoring content that, you know, they're in their opinion is bad or whatever, but yet they will allow, you know, AI content that's, some of it's literally scamming people, you know, some of it's actually like designed to scam and pretend to be somebody else that it's not. Yeah, dead internet theory. It's just crazy. It's like, I think at this point it almost definitely is dead. You know, it's like all the algorithms are, you know, fueled by, you know, bot traffic. A lot of it, it's just, you look at like, I mean, X or Twitter, it's a good example. It's been a lot of shit going on there. Hello, Kai, good to see you again. How are you doing? Hope you're well. But there's a lot of like, yeah, just artificial traffic and stuff like that. A lot of AI that's designed to be as addictive as possible. Think of the stuff like Coco Melon, as you know, like how they're trying to use certain colors and things in a way to try and make it addictive. It's not necessarily good for these kids to be watching, but it's addictive. It's like they don't understand what it's doing to them, you know, how it's making them develop and what have you, you know, they're with these chronically online and they're just, yeah, anyway, I digress. But yeah, the government will act as though that they care about children and how they're going to do these things like Online Safety Act to try and, you know, to make it so they have to sign in and what have you. I've been hearing a lot about like in Australia that they've done this social media ban there, but I think that I don't necessarily think that you should be completely banning like children from it. I think it's more about we need to kind of like more educate parents and try and like, should we completely ban them from social media altogether? I don't know. Some argue that we should, and I can understand that because it can mess up their upbringing and stuff. But I mean, I think there should be like moderation, I guess. You could say, well, they would have to do it on like their parents' accounts or something. So I guess that's how they could still get access to it through somebody else's account, I guess. So I don't know if it would actually ever really stop them from using social media, or they might find some workaround to get into it, whether it's using a VPN or something. I've actually heard though that they're trying to crack down on that as well and make you have to sign in to use a VPN. So that would kind of negate. So what are you guys' thoughts on that then? Is it justified? Someone's saying that could have like a knock-on effect or something. And I don't know. Because let's say if somebody has, I don't know, let's say somebody had a YouTube channel in Australia or something, and then a lot of their audience were like quite young, then that could affect the traffic potentially. I don't know, that was something I could think of, but I guess maybe they would have most of the viewers other countries, I don't know. But if it started to become more widespread, it could start to affect people's income sources and stuff like that if they are relying on social media. It's like, for example, when there was that TikTok ban in America, and then like people would kind of like be affected by that, but then they actually overturned that. So, but yeah, some think that TikTok should be banned, but then some people were saying that it doesn't really matter anyway because they're all just kind of like as bad anyway. So, but some might say TikTok is the worst, but something else would pop up and kind of like take its place, kind of thing. I don't know. I don't feel like banning a social media platform is really the answer. Yeah, that's what I was talking about, the social media ban. It's like, is it really a good idea? I mean, it's like, is it even really practical? Like, why are they doing it? Is it supposedly to protect children or something? Is it another like age verification thing? It could just be another way of trying to censor the internet and have it, or I don't know. Like something could be deemed as like, I don't know what it is, like, I don't know, like not child friendly or something like that. And well, that's nothing to do with the social media ban, but like, I think in this country they're hoping to like use that as a way to block any content from a lot of people, because you would have to sign in otherwise, which could like limit its reach. So if you say something like the stuff I'm talking about tonight, then it might be hard to get any views if then you have to sign in to view it and stuff like that, If it puts any barriers, that could, limit some content's reach or something. So I just don't really feel like a lot of the time they have really good intentions and stuff. They might ban social media altogether. I mean, I don't know if that's even possible or what. Be interesting to see what would happen. Imagine if it actually got banned altogether, then does that mean they would ban YouTube altogether as well? Because some might consider that as like a social media as well. Because it kind of acts like that in a way when you're interacting with people and stuff. I'm not sure how they would even ban social media altogether, because there's that many different platforms. Like, I don't know, like, how that would even be possible. Like, someone might even try to come up with some kind of, alternative internet even or something, I don't know, to try and kind of figure out some solution if people want it that badly, I think there's not enough people that would support a social media ban altogether, I guess. Because there's that many people that would benefit from social media, like, or at least think that they benefit from it, because a lot of people are just addicted to it. But it's like, there's a lot of forces, I think, that would stop it from happening, but I don't know. I can't see it happening. I know that they said that about TikTok in America, but well, that looks like that's been overturned. They might have heavy restrictions on YouTube instead of banning it. Government may require the data from users, like comments and what videos are watched. Yeah, that could get quite draconian, just kind of spying on people and seeing what they're saying and stuff like that, trying to see if, you're a dissident or something like that. But they'll try and make out like it's to protect children, but really it's to try and gather data on people's, what people are saying. Because they might be, a quote-unquote domestic terrorist or some shit. That seems to be the kind of narrative that they try and push sometimes, that these people are domestic terrorists, are saying these words, and it's like, well, yeah, but they're not though, really, are they? They're just, people with opinions and different to yours. It's like for some people, it's say if you have an opinion different to them, then therefore you're a domestic terrorist or you're a bigot or some other word. I mean, like I said, I just don't even know what's true anymore. Like, there's so much BS that we're being told that's none of it we can really truly know for sure. We can just say like opinions on it. There are things outside of what we can understand that we'll just have to take it on like face value, really, won't we? We just say, oh, that's what they said. Oh, that's, it's like, well, is that good enough that we just take what someone says on face value that this is what happened, this is what went down? Because unless you're there at the event, can you know for certain? Like nothing seems kind of like certain anymore. We've got different narratives people are buying into, like, and I think that's all by design, is to have everybody just confused, and because then it's like they're not grounded, are they? If they're just confused. I don't know. I sound all like really conspiratorial and whatever, but yeah, if I get arrested for what I say, then so be it. Like I said, enough people would probably have my back that it'd be worth it. Yeah, it seems so. I think because if I remember, there's not been as much war stuff going on, but yeah, but there's still been some people out there trying to kind of do all these protests and stuff, like these free Palestine project or whatever, or some kind of Palestine thing. But apparently Greta Thunberg has been kind of inserting herself into the whole kind of Palestine thing, and apparently one of these were like I think it was I can't remember, but there were, she was basically saying something about calling for violence, it seemed, basically. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you're why are you saying this stuff? Are you just trying to like get attention or something? I mean, because it's going to get you some relevance again. Is that what she's just trying to do? She just wants to keep relevant or something, so she would just say some inflammatory stuff. So that's what it feels like a lot of people do, like rage baiting or whatever it might be. It's kind of, you could say it's kind of like a grift in a sense, because it's just, they're just trying to, either for money or whether that's attention, because for some people, attention is like their currency. It's like a lot of these modern women, it's like attention is their currency. That's like, the more attention they get, then the more money they feel like they have in that sense. It's like a sort of wealth. It's like with all these snap scores and stuff like that. It's like a game to them, isn't it? Of how popular they are. It's a bit lame to me, isn't it? Really, it's just kind of, I mean, you got better things to be doing than just trying to build your snap score. What has that got you in real life? It's not really achieved you anything in real life, has it? Building your snap score to 1 million or whatever, it's like a big fucking deal. Well done. You've just wasted so many years of your life trying to become a snap star or whatever. I don't know. It's just cringe. Yeah. Well, this is like stupid games win stupid prizes. Like they're playing these snap score games, and then they end up like getting the biggest snap score or whatever, and then it's like, okay, well, what has that really achieved? What have you really achieved in the real world? What kind of skills have you developed? and just like putting out random images of yourself, trying to spam everybody with them. A lot of these people have absolutely no fucking talent whatsoever. They're just, I don't know, cause they think they're special because they're a female or something. But then some of them at the same time are deeply insecure, and they're trying to just kind of, I guess they're trying to compensate for whatever insecurities they have by trying to get their stat scores up and things like that, to feel popular, to feel desired, or whatever it might be. I think a lot of these people like are just been, I don't know, I'd question the parenting and stuff like that, and the environments they're growing up in. Of course, sometimes they're not always bad, and sometimes they're doing the best that they can. But you question, like, you know, how good they are at doing these things, because what went wrong with some of these children who are growing up, and then they end up, you know, putting themselves on these apps where all they're doing all day is focusing on how many likes they've got or whatever. And oftentimes they're like sexualizing themselves at quite a young age. Like, what the fuck is going on there, you know? And no wonder you end up getting a bunch of like creeps messaging them and stuff, and trying to, like, you know, get them to do stuff, you know, if they're putting themselves out there like that, and their parents are like letting them do that kind of stuff. So I do think that like these kids need to be vetted more with like social media and stuff. Now, does that mean that they should be banned altogether? I don't know. But maybe if they want to go on social media, maybe it should be done from their parents' account or something, or maybe they need to have some kind of remote access to their accounts so they can see exactly what's happening on their accounts. So then they can sort of like intervene if necessary and prevent any bad things from happening if they start getting weirdos messaging them, you know? So that might be a better way to, you know, deal with the situation, really. I don't know. But yeah, you don't see a lot of that anymore. I think it's just like there's the whole black pill thing. That's become this kind of mainstream thing where it's just kind of like looks maxing and stuff and all that. Channels like Clavicular and whatnot that do that kind of stuff. But it's like, to me though, the whole kind of looks maxing thing is, I don't get it. It's like they're trying to just, it's like they go too far with these things, and to me it's like men are supposed to look rough around the edges, right? They're not supposed to be super kind of clean and whatever. To me, it just makes you look worse if you end up looking like a woman as a man. It'd be like if a woman tried to then like look masculine and build muscles and things like that. That might not be the most appealing. Like it would be like if she did that to try and attract a man. It would be a bit absurd, really. It's like when these women try and like do the, you know, hollow cheek surgery or whatever. They try and, you know, suck the fat out of their cheeks. Well, I think they look better with a bit of that natural plumpness in their face. Makes them look more youthful. So why are they trying to look older? Because there's this phenomenon with a lot of Gen Z people looking old for their age. Why are they doing that? I'd say looks maxing is kind of black pill in the sense of like it's all about looks, and they could say it's white pill. I don't know. These words are kind of ridiculous anyway, but I think red pill's more to do with like just your basics of like going to the gym and kind of getting good at like talking to women and stuff like that. I think are the main things with it, really. And just getting your life sorted out, really. Whereas like yeah, the black pill's all about your face and height and all that kind of bullshit. I don't think every woman like needs a guy to be 6 foot tall, though. I think that's a bit of a exaggeration. Yeah, women tend to like taller guys, but up to a point, you know. I think some guys kind of over exaggerate the the necessity for a height and stuff like that. It doesn't really make any sense, really, does it? Not every woman's going to be able to get a guy that's 6 foot tall. It's just statistically just not going to happen. Otherwise, they're just going to end up being single, unless they want to share the guy. And sometimes that happens where women will share one guy. There's also times where men share multiple women, so I don't know. Or sorry, multiple men sharing one. So you've got multiple men sharing one woman, and then you've got the other way around as well. So anyway, yeah, there's a lot of these drugs and stuff, and like there's a lot of stuff just aging people rapidly, and it's not good, is it? Anyway, I'm gonna get off here, guys. I think I've said what I need to say. So all right, everybody. I'll see you all soon. All right, peace out, everyone. Bye.